Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community, make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Jones.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. I've got your amazing stat of the day. 18 quarterbacks threw for over 4,000 yards last year, and none of them were from Chicago. As a matter of fact, the Chicago quarterback it's a Chicago quarterback that has the record for the NFL for most interceptions thrown in a game, and it was in an era where you ran the ball 28 times a game or more. That was the 1950 Chicago Cardinals quarterback who threw 8 of them in one game. How crazy is that? He was so bad he threw 8 interceptions. So it's been a city thing with Chicago quarterbacks, not just a Bears thing. Because that was a Chicago Cardinal, is my point. But that being said, it's Christian Mahogany Draft Profile Day. So let me read this off for you right here. Christian Mahogany has carved out a reputation as a formidable interior alignment, showcasing the raw power and aggression needed to dominate in the trenches. His ability to leverage his size, strength against opponents makes him an asset in the run game, where he excels at opening lanes and bulldozing defenders. Despite this, Mahogany's game is not without flaws, as inconsistencies in footwork and a tendency to overcommit expose him to savvy rushers. His spatial awareness and pass protection needs refinement. However, his tenacity to bounce back from an ACL injury demonstrates a resilience and a work ethic that cannot be understated. The rest of it here, let me see. And as teams assess Mahogany's draft stock, they will weigh his undeniable impact in the run game against his pass protection vulnerabilities. With the right coaching and scheme fit, a la Detroit Lions, Mahogany has the makings of a solid NFL starter. Teams willing to invest in his development could find themselves with a linchpin on their offensive line, a player whose sheer force and dedication can set the tone for their ground attack. Will vote 18 says that's insane. Yes, 18 quarterbacks in the 2023 season threw for over 4K yards. It wasn't Justin Fields or Tyson Bagent. All right, JB, last night was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy fun too. I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I got a point here. Even with the 17 game schedule, the Chicago Bears have not had a 4K passer yet. To assume that it'll be Caleb Williams' rookie year to surpass 4,000 yards is an insane amount of pressure to put on a rookie quarterback, is my point, Orlando Brown. And Caleb Williams is not walking into such a great situation as Eli Manning, Patrick Rivers, or even Ben Roethlisberger in 2004. Because you forget what happened in that 2004-5 season. Ben Roethlisberger went and won a Super Bowl. Granted, he was short and Seattle should have won it. They screwed Sean Alexander and Hasselbeck. The bearded guy triggered me. But to assume that Caleb Williams is the next 4K passer for Chicago, we don't know. Shane Waldron proved that without a good QB coach, Geno Smith was just pedestrian. And the MSU Wolverine hater. Yeah, Philip Rivers, Eli Manning. I know I said it. I got a tongue dyslexia there for a minute. I knew what I wanted to say and got tongue tied. So massive upper body strength. The fact that Mahogany has that one leg shorter than the other, which actually helps him be a right guard because of how he positions his body. He won't be as good on the left guard. They're not saying he can't play left guard. He's just never done it because they never tried it because his body is made for a right guard. So that's why he fell. It was lack of versatility in the pass protection. But at the same time, when you look at his stats for 2023, Christian Mahogany gave up 3 pressures and 1 sack in all the games that Boston College played. The date is tonight. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been on last night. The date is tonight. There will be no Fire Up Tonight show on the South Florida Tribune because I cannot be there. And I am the co-host. And I made sure that that happened ahead of time. The date is tonight, boys. 8 p.m. I go out to dinner with a nice Christian girl. Might have to change that. I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm talking smack already. And yes, anytime a woman asks you out to dinner, that's a date. JB scored a hottie. Yes, yes, sir. She has been in this chat too this week. One of our new subscribers. Speaking of which, talking about subscribers, Christian Mingle? No, sir. I wouldn't deflower that many Christians in eaters. Yes, absolutely. Joelle. Her name is Joelle. We are at 468 subscribers, 32 away before we decide what type of giveaway we're doing at 500 subs. And there will be out of everybody who's in the subscriber pool. That includes the Strilla the Thriller. I don't care. He's not a co-host. He's a guest. That includes Uncle Rumble, Orlando. Oh no, she's on the chat. I'm embarrassed. Yes, she was here Monday because she had the day off and she was chatting in here. And she gave his undone all he could handle. It was great. She actually messaged me right after the show. That is undone was frustrating me. He made you mad. Tubby's gift card. Oh my titty dog. You do it every day. We're used to it. There you go. Just to make you happy, Orlando. We are going to El Potrero on Fenton Road. I love that food. It's actually decently authentic Mexican style food, and it's a nice menu. It's a good venue to sit at. If we decide to partake in some alcoholic inebriations, we can. They do have a full service bar as well, but it's not a bar first. We might have to do the two can share margarita. Comes in a looks like a goldfish snifter bowl. That being said, I'm going to check right now. Let's see if the last two first rounders have signed. When it's a butchy football chick, it's fine, but Christian Hottie, I'm embarrassed. That's okay. It's okay, there, big guy. She wasn't offended. She's heard worse. Two straws. Yes, sir. Wow, so far, there is no news about Jay Jetta and Dallas. None. No news. Why haven't they signed? What's the holdup? Oh, Dallas signed, so the only one left is Jay Jetta. Or Justin JJ McCarthy. Gotcha. Who'd have thought he'd be the bigger diva coming into the rookie season than Caleb Williams, holding out longer? Only one left. Okay, so Dallas Turner signed. That's who signed yesterday or last night, right? So 31 rookies have signed their contract, and just JJ McCarthy is sitting there going, I won a national championship. I should make as much money as Caleb. Not realizing that the money breaks down by draft pick, not draft round. It's not set by position either. It's regardless of position, no matter where you're drafted in the first round. The max is what you can get, and everything goes down incrementally from there. So, as the 10th pick at a drop rate of 1.5 to 2 million, that means at a minimum he'll make 15 million less per year than Caleb Williams. I mean, that's just common math. It might be as much as 20 million less. Boy, wouldn't that make them angry if they can only offer him 19.9. Um, I'm going to say this again. There was 2 weeks, 2 years ago that Debo made a big stink about how he needed his extension or he wanted to be traded and asked to be traded. And they told him no the same day. We're going to work out a deal with you. So he holds out of training camps. He holds out of this. He holds out of that. Guess what? He got an extension. Flashback 2 days ago. Ayuk, I want out. John Lynch tells Adam Schefter, we have no interest in trading Ayuk. We've had two teams call. And guess what? We don't want to trade you. If you look at what they got, I don't think Ayuk is as good without Debo, nor is Debo as good without Ayuk. Both of them take coverages off the other one when the one is playing well. It's much like Mike. Ooh wee. But the whole agent issue is a problem with JJ. I don't think there's ever been a drafted player to return to college, and I don't think it's possible. I think he's stuck because remember, Drew Hansen was drafted by Dallas back in the day and also drafted by the Yankees. He chose to go to Yankees because it was more money for him at the time. Flash flash forward 3 years when he bounced out of Major League Baseball, he came back to the NFL and had to play for the Cowboys, and he was awful. Mims hasn't signed either. That just came up. They said he did, but that was fake. Hmm. The money issue is he wants Caleb money and it's not available at the 10th pick, Trace, from what I understand. He says I should make just as much as him. He's only got a Heisman, I got a national championship. That's his argument that he's had with Minnesota brass. He's not understanding there's a rookie cap. Oh, the coffee's flowing good this morning. Got the industrial size coffee cup to go with the industrial size pop mug. I'm good. It was crazy. Yesterday it barely hit 80 degrees and it felt just as hot, if not just as humid as the day before when it was almost 90. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was sweating so bad at work. But that's okay. I need to sweat. I got to lose some of this girlish figure. Mims hasn't signed either. What Mims? Artavius Mims, the offensive lineman? Rookie cap stuff makes it irrelevant. Pennies, really? Yes. I mean, yeah, I heard that too of him whining about it. Good morning, Matt Henry. Um, it is what it is. So let's get into his strengths and weaknesses for Mahogany real quick before we go any further. All right, struggles with consistent footwork, especially against complex defensive movements. These are the weaknesses. Tends to overset against crafty rushers, leading to vulnerabilities in pass protection. Needs to enhance spatial awareness to avoid creating gaps in the offensive line. Occasionally plays beyond his center of gravity, making him susceptible to counters. Lacks the lateral quickness and effectively handle edge to edge rushers in pass protection. This one, nope. Okay, now that was his only weaknesses. Now it's his strengths. Brings a physical, aggressive approach to the game, using his strength to overpower defenders. Skilled in executing double team and combo blocks, demonstrating quickness and precision. Effective in pass protection with the ability to absorb power and neutralize rushers. Displays remarkable recovery quickness, maintaining engagement through his reach. Excels as a puller and in screenplays, moving fluidly to create openings for runners. Strengths continued. Utilizes stiff, strong hands to disrupt defenders' momentum and protect the quarterback. Adept at identifying and adjusting to stunts and twists, maintaining solid defensive fronts. Embodies a mauler's mentality with the drive to power to finish blocks aggressively. But at the same time, the center of balance is a problem. MHJ was offered a bag to stay, now dealing with rookie pennies. Yeah, you can say that, but if they give him the max amount at his position, guess what he's making? The same amount of money as Jay Jetta coming out of college. Wasn't he picked like third or fourth overall? Fourth, right? He went to Arizona, right? Fourth pick. So take 8 million off of what means he's making 31 million. He's making more than Amon-Ra St. Brown if they put it to the max, but they probably didn't because Arizona only does that with quarterbacks. Also known as Kyler Murray, Mighty Mouse. The only guy taller than Bryce Young in the league, or almost as short, I should say. Oh, 100%. And I said this would be a problem while everybody else said, oh, it's going to make these players more mature with their money because they'll understand contracts better. We're seeing that's not the case. No, I don't think NIL affects future CBA rookie caps. As a matter of fact, I think the NIL guys need to educate the players they pay about how NFL contracts work versus NIL contracts because they're different things. NILs are sponsorship money. Contracts are pay for play. NIL is not pay for play yet unless that deal proposal gets proposed for the Power 5 conference by the NCAA. That's the huge difference. And I still think if you get a full ride scholarship, the guys with the half ride and quarter ride scholarships and walk-ons deserve the money more than the guys that get all their college for free. That's just my opinion. You guys can hate on it all you want, but when a school only gets 20 million, Christian Haynes is just a little more polished in pass protection. Mahogany's the better run protector, and we are a run first team, despite what anybody thinks. Because you don't have two backs get you over 2,000 yards 2 years in a row without being a run first team. The byproduct is people are open a little more often than in some of the pass happy teams. And hence why Goff was able to get 4,500 yards, around 30 touchdowns the last two seasons in a row. Wasn't it 29 last in 2022-23? And in 23-24, he got 30. 29-7 was the touchdown to interception ratio. This past year, it was 30-11, if I remember right. So he's still over a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which is pretty good in the NFL. His only bad year was his first year here, but we had a dumpster fire roster at the time. I mean, think about it. The top three guys we signed to be our 1, 2, and 3. Amon-Ra St. Brown was drafted to be the occasional slot and wide receiver 4. Rashad Perriman didn't make it out of the preseason. Terrell Williams didn't make it out of the first game. And Quintus Cephas disappeared because he was our slot guy we drafted the year before that was actually pretty decent and just disappeared. And then he gambled while he was hurt and got himself removed from the team, and he's now on he probably will end up on the practice squad of the Texans, which is where Cephas signed now. I don't think he cracks that roster. I think he'll make John Mechie will make it before him. That's just me, but they've already talked about John Mechie might be becoming a free agent after the preseason if he doesn't show out, because they are three deep at wide receiver naturally with Collins, Diggs, and Tank Dell alone. They still got Noah Brown. Then John Mechie, Quintez Cephas and company, and everybody else. So they got a pretty deep wide receiver room. You could see somebody decent fall. Um, he doesn't rip someone's hand off, but he is very, very good at mauling people in the run game. And if you rip someone's helmet off, it's an automatic 15-yard penalty in the NFL and a loss of down, if you remember right. That's whether you take your own off or you rip somebody's off on the field. That's supposed to be an automatic penalty, but some of these refs don't know that because uh, unnecessary roughness is what it falls under. But ripping the helmet off can lead to an ejection also. It depends on what you do with it. He does have some issues. It's not that he gets too upright, but he has a bad center of balance. I think a lot of that has to do with the one leg shorter than the other. Um, and he tends to overcommit to somebody he's blocking, which tends to get him moved over or moved behind. But I am very happy with having Mahogany as a backup this year. Anybody who isn't doesn't understand that that's the type of guys we draft. He's our backup to Kevin Ziegler, 100%. All I know is that OTAs, they said when he was on the field, it's like Jonah Jackson was still in the lineup because he wears the same number at 73. It's hard to believe we're at 9 Sundays away from regular season football, people. That's something to get excited about. So if we're 9 Sundays away, that would be 56 days minus the 3 days, 53 days away from kickoff from Thursday night football. No, he doesn't have any versatility. He's only been a right guard his entire career, including high school. But that is why we signed that Kingsley Egukun, and I don't care what anybody says, Kingsley Egukun is probably gonna make this team as the backup center. We signed him to 2 years and gave him the most guaranteed money of any of the offensive linemen. That's very rare that you do that with a backup center from the UDFA role. Quintez Cephas came back, signed with the Bills, got cut from the roster, and then Quintez Cephas signed with the Texans. Yes. But at the same time, let's talk about some injury things I saw because I was watching NFL Network's roundup. Decker and Ragnow's last year. It's not Ragnow's. He has 2 years left on his contract. It's Decker's last year contract wise, but we don't know if it's his last year. They could restructure him and stretch that money out to lessen that void hit, to move the void back 2 years if they want, which they just may do. Who knows? Because right now, even when Decker leaves, it's 19 million against the cap, even though he's not on the roster. So a restructure for Decker may be imminent if he decides he wants to play past this season. But Zach Tom, the Packers have Zach Tom. They're both their starting tackles are on the pup list right now. They won't even be able to practice. Tucker Kraft is on the pup list. One of the guys they were bragging about, Ashley McGo, I think his name was, that came on strong when a couple people were hurt, namely Christian Watson and whoever else on the roster. Um, he showed out toe issues, I figured. No, Ragnow said he had no interest in retiring. He was just overreacting to a bad game. He's already came out and said this. Ragnow's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I think he might even play longer because he said the toe is not an issue. I was just having a bad day. I'm not retiring. His exact words. He goes, nor do I plan to anytime soon. Despite all the toe issues, he was the second best tackle behind Jason Kelsey, which means what? Oh, he's now the best tackle in the NFL because Jason Kelsey retired. So both starting tackles are on the pup list, which means that can be anywhere from 6 to 17 weeks from now. Because remember, it was week 11 when Hendon Hooker was put on the pup list before he came back. There was another guy, a defensive player that has a non-football injury that can't play right now too. So they got issues there. Josh Jacobs with 5 baby mamas out there. No wonder why he wanted a pay raise. He has child support to pay. Maybe that's why all the paternity suits came in last year. Is that why he had a down year? Deshaun Watson is still not able to report to camp. I said center. I was talking about Ragnow. I didn't mean tackle. Dude, it's been a long morning already. Don't get me on semantics. We all know that what I was talking about, because if I mention Jason Kelsey and Frank Ragnow in the same sentence, we know what position I'm talking about. It's been a long night already. I stayed up to 5 a.m. to do all this stuff today. I'm just tired. I'm trying to see that Jason Kelsey, Jason Kelsey for the Philadelphia Eagles, the best center in the league last year, but he retired. So that makes Frank Ragnow the best center in the league. No, it's not butterflies for the date. It's exhaustion. Hello, Yoli Cruz. Thank you for the friend request last night. Good to see you. He was ranked the number one center before he was retired, and number two is Frank Ragnow. So if you remove the top one, who's number one? How did that change? Because he actually gave up more sacks than everything. Ah, there it is. Now I can get to it. Oh yeah, the Keaton Oladapo. I'm salty over that. We should be. Ragnow should be number one. But anyways, Keaton Oladapo, the rookie safety their first safety they took off the board in Green Bay, he has a non-football injury. I guess he was playing beach volleyball or something with some people, and he messed up his arm. But their starting offensive tackles, Donovan Jennings and Zach Toms, were both placed on the pup list. Alex, not Ashley, Alex McGough is was also put on the pup list yesterday. And it was yesterday when Quintus Cephas and guard Chris Reed was signed along with defensive end Malik Fisher, because the injuries for the Houston Texans are Andrew Beck, Dylan Horton, Deshaun Phillips at linebacker, and D'Angelo Ross, which was their rookie. Their roster cut was UDFA Jackson Jenke. He was medically waived due to an injury, and he has a partially guaranteed contract. Um, Jackson and Jace Janke were the twins out of South Dakota, or either North Dakota or South Dakota. But these twins are huge. They were like both 6'3.5", 6'4", 215 pounds. Anyone from the Rams? Well, let me look. Wayne Ruby was cut from the Jaguars. Los Angeles Chargers placed Junior Colson on the non-football illness list. Wow. The guy that everybody expected to be able to jump in for Ladarius Sneed, Jalen Watson last year has a bad shoulder and placed on the pup list, possibly going to the IR. Guard Joe Thuney has a torn pec, has been placed on the pup list. Defensive end BJ Thompson is placed on the non-football illness list. And Charles Omenihu, I believe that was their 5th-round pick, has been placed on the pup list per team. They signed wide receiver Kyle Sheets, whoever that is. It ends right at Pittsburgh Steeler, which they had a signing and they cut safety Jalen Elliott for the Steelers. Uh, Dustin Hopkins signs with the Browns, and Christian Watson or Deshaun Watson may be hitting the pup list. Surprise! He might not be ready to play for the season. I am so ready for training to start and some real news to come out. The draft pile profiles are great, but anyone who watched last night saw we went way later than normal. We had a 2.5 hour show on the NFL Roundtable Talk, and it was a blast. We literally talked so long that Mike, the Vikings fan, left, had dinner, came back, grabbed a beer, went back out to his garage, came back, and we were still talking, and we went another half hour with him. It was so much fun. Uh, I love talking with people from other fan bases. Um, and I got into it because I looked, and it's kind of oh, good Lord, here we go. Here comes my disclaimer. The views and opinions of Jeremy Ballrick Jr. does not reflect that of Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions, nor Smoking Jeremy B. Anybody that thinks we're taking Will Harris instead of anyone on this roster needs their head examined. Love you, but I can't stand those comments. We got better by 3,000% by cutting Will Harris and Benito Jones. That right there should give us 5 moves up in the defensive rankings. I am ready to see 11 on 11s. I am ready to see pads and or as I like to call them, the mushroom heads go at it because they offer them to wear those. I think they have to wear them in preseason. It's an option to wear them in the game. Anybody who wears those in the game, um, I'm quite sure they're going to be called dickheads for more than one reason. None of them because their first name's Richard. But I do agree with offensive and defensive linemen wearing them for one reason. I've heard they're not that heavy as they or as cumbersome as they look. Number 2, they protect against the biggest injury that offensive linemen and defensive linemen had, and that's concussions. They reduce concussions by 92%. So it's not saying that if you lead with the crown of the helmet and hit somebody helmet to helmet, you won't get one. But I could see where offensive and defensive linemen use it. Possibly a super fast edge rusher playing the Sam like James Houston would wear it. But at the same time, let's go. Let's get this season started. I'm ready to have some real news. Is everybody else ready for real news instead of looking at who signed where and what? NFL schedule release. Top 10 primetime games. Let's go. Let's see what they rank them at. At number 10, it's Dallas at San Francisco, Sunday, October 27th, 8:20 p.m. on NBC, the Sunday night game. Number 2 is Green Bay at Philly in week 1 on Friday. Number number 9. Number 8 is Denver's at New Orleans Saints, the bottom of the bottom feeders. Uh, Training camp and preseason, I'm focused on Hooker and Davenport and secondary catcher. What am I watching? I am watching for whoever is going to play better at that other opposite Hutch spot. And I'm focused on the secondary too. I want to see if Amik or Carlton Davis wins the CB1. I think unless Terrion Arnold has something drastic happen in training camp or preseason, he's our CB2. But this Amazon gets screwed again in week 7. Denver at New Orleans Saints on Prime. Joel Davis. Hey, sweetie. Can't wait to see you tonight. Yes, I need some games. Let's go football. Defensive end and D line too. Number 7 is Chicago. Houston Texans. This is going to be a slobber knocker. Texans might win 56-7. Um, rank the 6th ranked primetime game Monday, December 30th. Detroit Lions at San Francisco 49ers. The 5th ranked one, Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. The rematch of the AFC Championship game. Rank 4th in the league. LA Rams come to Ford Field to face off against the Detroit Football Lions on Sunday, September 8th, week 1 on Sunday Night Football. Number 3, Houston Texans at Dallas Cowboys. Quietly, America's team is even losing their own state as the favorite team in the state. Houston is getting very much love in the state of Texas. This is coming from multiple people that I know that live in Texas. Do you need bail money? Let me put it up there just in case. Buddy Conquito, welcome to the chat. He's usually our first one here. But there's my Cash App. It'll come up a lot on the ticker at the bottom. If I need bail money, send it to me now. Yeah, Cowgirls should have been knocked out from America's team way back in 91 when John Madden coined it after we slobber knockered them 31-6 in the wild card game. He literally coined the term. He goes, Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions are now America's team. And that was the last thing that was said before the sign off. Number 2, New York Jets at San Francisco 49ers is number 1. How many snaps does Aaron Rodgers make it this year before he snaps his Achilles? And number 1, Baltimore Ravens at Los Angeles Chargers. Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. This is the first time they've met since the Super Bowl where the blackout happened at the Superdome. So there are your top 10 primetime matchups preseason. We got 2 games in there. Ravens got 2 games in there. The Chiefs got 2 games in there. The Chargers got a game. The Saints got a game. The Packers got a game. Dallas got 2 games in there. $468 subs. Make sure you share this in any Lions fan page you're on. You say 3 for Karen Rodgers? And I quoted it last night, and as of today, it has been 571 days since Aaron Rodgers completed a pass to an actual wide receiver and not Kirby Joseph. The ticker keeps going. By the time we said the season starts, we'll be at 300 days, people. Or 600 days, excuse me. I'm going to give him till the second quarter. I think he's going to make it through 3 drives. And then Nick Bosa's going to hit him so hard his grandchildren may come out stupid. Oh, wait, he'd have to have children for that to happen. Oh, poor guy. Notice he was single the last time he won a ring. That's why he can't keep a girlfriend. He can never get them a ring. Win it for me, baby. Oh, you didn't make it this year. Oh, I'm in a mood today. I heard Danica left him because she said she wanted to try butt stuff and he bent over for Aaron Rodgers. Is he still with the witch? Blue, or whatever her name was. I heard she needed more of a man than he could be. Yeah, when he bent over, she was done. Oh, great. Oh, so it is that time. We got about 7 minutes. It's time for Ask the Host, but please leave time for answers. What do you want to talk about today? If I don't know it, I'll look it up because I'm not above saying, well, I don't know. Let me see. Or deferring to say, hey, let me check into that and I'll answer it next show. Because that's the way I am. I'd rather give somebody facts than just spout off random bullshit. I'm terrible. FTP. 100%. I think it, oh my, you are on fire today. I'm just saying, Danica Patrick proved that she was more man than Aaron. She drives fast cars. She passes on guys as quick as she passes on girls. Ooh, potential coaches taking over Ben Johnson and AG leave this offseason. Right now, I believe that would be Tanner Angstrom, our current passing game coordinator and tight ends coach, would probably step in immediately. And no, it doesn't get talked about. I don't really get into it, but if AG leaves, I think it's Terrell Williams or Kelvin Shepard. They're going to promote one of those guys from within. Those guys both are guys that seem to have that defensive coordinator mentality, and they are honest. Well, James Turner is a kicker that didn't make it. He literally got gutted from the 90-man squad because we signed Jake Bates, a guy that was 100% indoors, and we play 14 games indoors. And I fully, wholeheartedly put my stamp of approval on that signing because he is definitely a guy that will give Michael Badgley a run for his money. I think, but at the same time, Trace, you got to remember Kelvin Shepard's been here. He's got a little bit of tenure. He has that rapport with Dan Campbell already. Oh God, you're gonna make me do it. There, I roared. That's as close as you'll get. But the UDFA, JJ Ross not making it. That kind of made me upset. Steel Chambers not making it. Yeah, buddy, that was legit. There you go. Oh, Echo does a wonderful job on that. That's how I wake up every morning. Roar. The roar I sometimes hear makes my sheets float above me with a green cloud. Maybe that explains why AR likes to go into darkness retreats. I think it's because it's the only place he can find his mushrooms to make his tea he drinks. Oh. But at the same time, can we talk about a couple of awful things that happened? 3 awful things happened within a 2-day span, Monday and Tuesday, in the sports world. And then when I say awful, I mean awful. Okay, I might do that Friday, Grandizer, 100%. I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe a future show, or if you have time, top 24 Lions players that may be a surprise cut this year. Yeah, I got about 4 of them that'll surprise. One won't surprise anybody. But, Ingrid, the national anthem singer, the night of the home run derby, had possibly the worst performance since Roseanne Barr. It was so awful that when she went back and reviewed it, she goes, "Oh god." And she apologized for being drunk. And she goes, "This is not how I sing. This is not the person I want to present professionally. And I was wrong and I need rehab. I have a drinking problem." And she checked herself into rehab that day after she got off of Twitter and made her post. Then the American League All-Star game happens in those jerseys. I will check on JJ Ross. I will see. I know that Steel Chambers, within 2 hours of being waived, was picked up because don't forget, he's a running back also, and the running back room is getting thin over there in Patriots land, so he was picked up by the Patriots and within 2 hours of being waived. And then James Turner, the kicker, was picked up by the Packers within 2 hours of getting waived. So, and I think that was a knee-jerk reaction by the Packers because they weren't able to get Jake Bates that they had visited with twice as well, and nobody reported that stuff. I had to go find it. So, there's a lot out there. I will look into the guys who left that I was excited about, but JJ Ross never made the 90. And I was actually discouraged by that because I heard many great things about a tall guy that can play safety and corner and was semi-quick. He just didn't have the college repertoire to garner being picked in the top 3 days of the draft. I think he might have been better than a couple of the guys that did get drafted, and I'm not gonna say any names. Because there were some guys that was drafted late, 6th and 7th round at safety that I have no idea who they are, where they came from, and can't find a stat on them because they almost look like either community college or Canadian Football League players. And I'm not talking about Quantez Stiggers because I did a deep dive into him, and I think Philly got a dog in Stiggers. Chambers was a running back his first 2 years at Ohio State and switched to linebacker because he hit so good on special teams. So he plays special teams as a tackler. He was a running back that liked to initiate contact and run through people, but he was so buried on the depth chart he wasn't getting playing time and switched to linebacker to get a starting role once a couple of guys were drafted in 2022. You missed the Mahogany draft profile. I'll go over it again tomorrow night. Tonight's the date. And yes, she's been in the chat. It's Joel Davis and myself going on the date tonight. I'm not afraid to put that out there for my fans. We are going out for a wonderful Mexican dinner. Hey, other Brent. Yeah, he was actually recruited as a running back for Steel Chambers. I still say that was the number one porn name in football, and I will stand by it. It sounds like he belongs as a star at the top of the Pornhub men's model list. That, or he should be the next pro wrestler on WWE. That name fits in either category. All right, JB. That being said, it is time for our favorite sponsor that doesn't even pay me a dime, but it's fun to do anyways. It's FTP. We've seen Davey, Brent DeWitt, Joel Davis, Orlando. I showed you my booby earlier. Well, at least I cupped it for you. I didn't show it. Because you keep talking about titties in a chat where there's women. Trace, both Brents. Didn't see Ricky today, but that's okay. I saw Matt Henry and Yoli. You guys were all great. Thank you for coming in. Thank you every day for making this old man feel like he knows what he's talking about. Yep, I'm very excited. I'm waiting now to calm the nerves. Ho, ho, ho. And of course, my other sponsor, the one that actually does pay me. Let me get that off of the space here. There we go. That is Brandon's Tire Service right at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, where you could find me Tuesday through Saturday from 2 p.m. till close. I'm going to ask if I can leave early tonight. But we are located at 602 West Atherton Road. Our number for new tires is 810-233-8230. And you can buy our wonderful used tires right there in Flint, Michigan. Flint, where the water's shit, but the tires are good at Brandon Service. Used tires starting at $40 and up, depending on size and depth of tread. Oh, I'm going to have a great time. I try to make every moment a great moment in my life because I wake up. And if you need a good towing company, Davey, yes, I hear you. I'm working on it. I'm still working with a couple of them. There's one I won't deal with because they have one of our former managers, and I'm not going to name that name because I don't besmirch a company because of an individual, but I do. JB's recommended towing service, Westside Towing, right here in Flint, Michigan. There's also Complete Towing, two of them, great services. I'm going to get the number of the roadside service guy we use because he will actually go and to where you're at, change out your tire, jump the battery, fix a car if it's something minor right there on the spot. He has all his tools. He drives a nice little Toyota SUV or Subaru. I can't remember which right off the top of my head. There JB is again, yanking chains and towing fools. Thank you so much, everybody, for being in the chat. And of course, Uncle Rumble. He will. Once he gets settled down with all this busyness, he'll be a regular as a guest on the Lions Fan Cave chat and other shows, along with Bistrilla de Thrilla, because them two host nothing but the smoke on Tuesday starting in August. I know he's itching to talk some football live and in person on camera again. Uncle Rumble's a good guy. He has a lot of knowledge too. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.